And welcome back, Husky Warming House podcast fans. It's episode number 4 of the Tape to Tape Breakdown. Noah Grant, along with myself, Nick Maxon, in honor of our special guest this week from Don Lucia, where we're going to be breaking down a goal from the Golden Gophers that would send them to the NCAA Finals. It's Justin Holl beating the clock with 0.6 seconds to go against St. Cloud State rival North Dakota, Noah. And again, you would think that in this kind of situation, as you roll the clip a couple of times for the viewers, that it's a pretty innocent play. You talk about hockey and getting a bounce here and there. It ends up being right on the stick of defenseman Justin Holl, the now current Toronto Maple Leaf defenseman, and he puts one in the back of the net, and it's just an absolute heartbreaker for Fighting Hawks fans.
Yeah, certainly I don't complain about a heartbreaker for North Dakota fans. Sorry, not sorry, even though I do live in this great state. But nonetheless, one of the things to really pick out here, Nick, I think is to preface this game a little bit, Minnesota was vastly outplayed in this hockey game. Union College is awaiting the winner of this game for the NCAA championship in 2014. And like I just mentioned, North Dakota should have won this game handily 7-1. So for Minnesota to just be in this position, albeit shorthanded, but just have a chance to get to overtime, relatively unscathed, barring that they can actually just win a draw here, is pretty incredible. So, a good job by Minnesota to, kind of survive a little bit, in a situation where maybe they probably deserve to not to. But shorthanded North Dakota with a fairly standard power play setup, they have their defenseman back a little bit towards the blue line, just making sure that, a Gopher player doesn't slip through and, beat one of the defensemen. And then if you're the Gophers right now, you're just lined up across, the winger and the defenseman on either side, matching up against the wings for North Dakota, are just going to try to make sure that none of these guys get the puck. They can corral the puck and at least just chip the puck out of the zone in some fashion, or hang on to the puck and not let North Dakota get a chance. I mean, pretty standard fare here, Nick, if we roll the clip forward.
Yes, we will. Minnesota's going to win the faceoff here, Noah, and good support here again on the wings. And you talk about how good it is, I should say how important it is to support the puck after the draw. Actually gets a step. The North Dakota forward gets a step, but a good little bump play up the wall. But Minnesota now has numbers going up into the neutral zone. Justin Holl carries the puck. He'll advance it forward to Kyle Rao. I think it's important to stop it here, Noah, as you rightfully so here. Again, North Dakota is in good position here. Everybody's got a man. There's good gaps between the defensemen here. And more importantly, situational awareness here, Noah. There's 3.5 seconds on the clock. You see defenseman Justin Holl, again, they're short-handed, maybe not normally on the rush in this situation. And then Kyle Rao here too as well. Normally you wouldn't see him carry the puck in past the red line. Here again, noticing maybe there's not enough time for North Dakota, if there is a turnover, to transition backwards to get a shot towards Adam Wilcox. And he's going to try to go in and take a shot on net, and we get a fortuitous bounce here for the Gophers.
And you talk about North Dakota right now, you have that defenseman in Justin Holl jumping up in the rush. Two of the North Dakota forwards are still probably near relatively the Gopher blue line coming back into this play. North Dakota's got this play covered. I would say maybe if you're the North Dakota defenseman a little bit here, you might want to step up just a little bit on Kyle Rao just to make sure, he doesn't even get a chance of getting a clean shot off. But nonetheless, you shouldn't get beat on this play with the coverage that North Dakota has. But you got to like the weak side drive here from the Gopher forward here. I believe it is that Seth Ambrose, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
Is just driving the net and creating some sort of havoc because, 3.5 seconds on the clock, seems like an eternity when we slow it down right now here at half speed. But as you're going to see, especially for Justin Holl, it's going to create a world of opportunity here. So like you mentioned, Kyle Rao coming in, gets a shot off and just a fortuitous bounce, for Justin Holl to be able to at least have a chance on this puck. But, Nick, he has to make a really nice play, and he does so within the span of 1 second.
He does. It's called presence of mind, too. And veteran players here, you're not trying to do too much, and you have a calmness, a sense. So Justin Holl is going to take this puck from his left skate to his stick, And he's not just going to try to rush it. He's actually going to put the puck in a better shooting position. He's going to take the puck from his backhand to his forehand, being the right-handed shot on the left-hand side. He's going to give himself a much better shooting angle. And you can see that the forward that was covering him was actually not aware where the puck was. Shot came off again the skate of the North Dakota defenseman. It goes right to the skates. He was taking a look around. He was kind of turned around, and he's going to notice, wait, the puck is now on the stick of Justin Holl. And what he's going to do here, Noah, is he's going to just try to get his body in front of this puck. You talk about trying to block shots and make your goalie make one less save every time that you're on the ice. And we talk about Seth Ambrose and that weak side drive. Now he's actually providing a screen in front of the North Dakota goaltender, a good coverage there, again, by the North Dakota defenseman. But what might actually happen here, Noah, is that with multiple bodies in front of the goaltender, probably actually does a little bit more harm than good, as the goaltender will not pick up this puck, unfortunately, when it's behind him in the back of the net.
Yeah, that's certainly a lesson for a lot of young hockey players. I know for myself, I mean, I'm a tall kid, but I always, never really had the hardest shot until I kind of grew into my body my senior year of high school. So, I think a lot of players, they think that you have to have this Austin Matthews type release to, put a good puck on net. Well, this is a prime example of, obviously in the situation, you're just trying to get a puck through, but sometimes that's all it takes is just having a deceptive shot or kind of doing something that's unconventional. We talked about what led up to this play, right? Kyle Rao, has a shot that's blocked, but, maybe Justin Holl normally isn't up on this rush, especially on a penalty kill. He gets a bounce and he just tries to make the most of it. And sometimes as a hockey player, you can't really overthink things, especially, just inside the dots and, down well below the top of the circle. Not a bad shooting angle, especially in a 1-1 game headed to overtime for a national championship berth.
100%. Why don't you go ahead and roll the clip here, Noah? Again, Justin Holl, it's not, like you mentioned, it's not an Austin Matthews type of release. There's not a ton on this shot, but more importantly, the North Dakota goaltender just does not pick up this puck. We'll go ahead and go back to it one more time. Again, the shot off the knee pad, skate to stick, and then just tries to throw it on net. You never know. Pucks go on net, good things happen. And a couple of clips here later, Noah, is we're going to get an overhead view. And why this is going to be so important is the North Dakota goaltender, he doesn't see this puck. You can see it in his positioning. And when you're taught in goaltending is when you can't see the puck on a stick, you just try to be out in front of your crease. Perfect. He's challenging, and you're going to try to make yourself look as big as possible. He's going to take away the bottom part of the net. He's going to get in his butterfly and just try to see how much net he can take. And as you roll the clip forward a little bit, you're going to see that he doesn't really react to the puck as he's going down here in this frame until the puck is actually by him. You'll notice that the left pad is actually going to kick out, but by that time the puck is already by him. It's going to kiss off that left post, get its way into the back of the net, which again tells you that he did not get a clean look at this. You talk about getting that clean look as a shooter. Sometimes, again, just putting the puck on net doesn't have to be a hard shot. Goalie can't stop what he can't see. This is a perfect example of that.
Right, and you look at, the goaltender too. Usually when goaltenders, especially if they're trying to steer pucks, you see, the shoulders might kind of turn towards his glove side here. You might see his glove kind of open, and like you mentioned, the stick turns that direction. The pad flares out. Obviously his head's going to kind of turn to anticipate steering that puck away. I mean, look at where he's facing, right? He definitely just doesn't see that puck. And I know we're kind of going into a little bit, maybe too much depth about how he doesn't see the puck, but it really reiterates why this play is successful. It's just the simplicity of it, right? It's just knowing that you haven't played well in this hockey game. You really haven't generated anything. Just take what's given, right? It's a great lesson for young hockey players. Like you mentioned, the puck, not bad positioning by the goaltender. I think he wants to afford to kind of be towards the middle a little bit more. But again, this puck probably in most circumstances doesn't even have a chance of getting on net or being shot. So just gets the fortuitous bounce and it finds a way into the back of the net.
And you can see right here, as you can see, it finally extends that leg and that glove out when he finally realizes, as he sees the puck go by him, as we get a celebration there from goalie the Gophers. We get a good reverse angle here. Again, puck off the skate there, and then Justin Holl, again, just a nice skill play. And look at that, just on the stick and off the stick, it's just a quick release. He's not trying to pick a corner here. He's not trying to look up and see. He knows, again, you talk about situational awareness. There's less than a second left on the clock. And again, you don't need much. We saw Nazem Kadri from the Colorado Avalanche put a puck in with 0.1 seconds left in the qualifying round here at the 2020 postseason here for the NHL. And sometimes, again, you just got to find the hole. You got to shoot where the goalie isn't. And again, with the multiple bodies in front of the goaltender, he's down, he can't see it cleanly. This puck unfortunately gets by the North Dakota goaltender.
Yeah, just a really simple play, and you've got to like it. You've got to like defensemen that are willing to jump up in the rush too. And I think Justin Holl has transitioned that a little bit to his NHL game. I think maybe he's primarily more of a defense first type defenseman. Kind of a stay at home, maybe fifth defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But it's understanding that you don't have to be a big scorer to make the right play, right? It's all about reading and reacting what's given to you, and Justin Holl did that. And fortunately for Gophers fans, did give them a chance at a national championship. But speaking of defensemen, Nick, the Minnesota hockey team ran into a heck of a defenseman in their own right for Union College, and Shane Gostisbehere, who went +7 that night. And one of the more important plays I remember of that game too. Maybe I can see if we can roll it as we're talking about it here. But Shane Gostisbehere lays down on a 3-on-1 that Minnesota has with about 4.5 minutes left in the hockey game, and stymies that rush, and not only blocks it, but then kicks a puck up for a breakaway to his teammate to make it 6-4, and that all-important insurance goal. So, defensemen, they're catalysts in the game of hockey, right? You kind of live and die by the strength of your defense, and right there, the Gophers were able to capitalize on a strong defensive core in a year that probably should have been a rebuilding year for Minnesota, but nonetheless, you'll take it any way you can.
100%. And you talk about defensemen, especially in today's hockey, where they're not only being relied upon to defend, but they're relied upon to be an offensive catalyst. I mean, you talk about Quinn Hughes with the Vancouver Canucks and just how good he is in skating in terms of breaking the puck out, making those first passes, and he's stretching the play. As a defensive team going against Quinn Hughes, you have to always be aware of who's behind you. You can always, it pretty much forces you as the neutral zone to almost come back. You want to make sure that nothing gets behind you, because again, with the speed of the game and these forwards, I mean, you get a one-on-one with a goaltender, it's rarely a chance that they're not going to miss. You're going to end up getting one in the back of your own net. So defensemen, as you mentioned, so important in today's game with Shane Gostisbehere. It's not just about what's in front of you and what's happening, but thinking 2 steps ahead. So you can guarantee that as he's laying down, he gets, like you mentioned, breaks up that 3-on-1 rush. He's immediately picking up his head and surveying the ice, and then just making that quick, simple decision to move the puck up ice. You get that transition play, a goal goes against. It's that funny thing in hockey where a big save or a big play on one end always leads to another big play on the opposite end. Shane Gostisbehere and Union College, the Dutchman, winning that national championship, certainly took it to the Gophers in that national championship game.
Yeah, hockey IQ is just, of vital importance. You don't have to be the biggest guy, don't have to be the strongest guy, but if you can think the game a little bit quicker than your counterparts, you're going to get the job done. And speaking of having a good mind, also have quick fingers. Like and subscribe for us on this YouTube channel. We are in the middle of August now. Don Lucia joins us for episode 25 on Saturday. Dave Reichel joined us last week for episode 24. He was a fantastic interview, so definitely give us all the support you can. We're on Twitter at Warming House Den, and we hope to see you back next week for episode 5 of the Tape to Tape Breakdown.